All right, guys, what's going on? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And this video is going to be about whether or not XDefiant can make a comeback. Now, what exactly do I mean by that? Like, some of you guys might be saying, well, Jack, XDefiant's not in any danger. Mark Rubin had just basically said in the Ubisoft post or whatnot that the game is not in danger of dying and that it's got the full support of Ubisoft. What the hell are you talking about? And then on the other side of the fence, some of you guys might be like, well, is a developer actually going to admit that their game is struggling or whatnot? No, of course not. It's bad PR, blah, blah, blah. Now, just to reiterate, I'm not saying that Mark Rubin is straight up lying because, again, a game can receive the support past season 3 or towards the end of season 3, which is like, what, just a little over 6 months from now? And all of that is subject to change, right? Not everything goes according to plan. All it takes is for a Ubisoft exec to basically just, at the snap of a finger, say, no, we're not going to support this anymore. We've decided to shut you down. This is all very possible. We all know for a fact that XDefiant, in terms of its numbers, is not where it used to be, right? Let's just be real, because especially as far as the console base goes, it went from being like, let's say, like a top 5 game to a top 10 game to a top 20 game. And now on the PlayStation side of things, it's like in the 90s, and on the Xbox or whatnot, it's really hard to find. So it's like, it's probably not even in the top 100. And these are the straight up facts as far as everything we know in terms of how popular a game is played, right? In terms of, most played games on Xbox and on PlayStation as well. So those are things that we can't ignore either. However, what I'm getting at here is that, I originally made a commentary somewhat similar to this last night before going to bed. And it was a 23-minute long commentary. I may even post it in unlisted just for you guys to listen, for those of you guys that are interested, because it really goes in depth in terms of both sides. People saying that XDefiant is dead and here are the facts, blah, 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 versus the people that are very faithful to XDefiant. So you've got, on one side, you've got faith, and on the other side, you've got logic. And there are points to both sides to being made. However, after seeing Drifter's video today, one thing that I want to say is that I did not know exactly what Rainbow Six Siege went through, and I got a much better idea of what had happened exactly when Drifter had mentioned it in his latest video that he had made, or should I say in the video that I just saw, which right now, as of the time of this recording, is his latest video. And I'm glad that it happened. I'm glad that Rainbow Six Siege was able to make that kind of comeback, because that game was damn near dead and then it came back, right? Now, the question is, can XDefiant do that? A lot of the XDefiant faithful, as I like to call them, I am one of these people, is that they believe that it can happen. And it has happened before, obviously, with Rainbow Six Siege, and it has happened a couple of other times in other game franchises. And the ones that come to mind are is Killer Instinct of 2013 that went through 2017, and then it stopped getting developer support. And then about, I believe, a few years later, they made an announcement, or actually more recently, actually within the last couple of years or so, I think it was a couple of years or so ago, when they announced that the game is going to continue to get developer support or something like that, and things are going to continue to get better or whatnot. But the other big game is the Marvel, or the Capcom Fighting Collection, which just recently released earlier this month. And it was a game that was seemingly dead. And Maximilian, who is the big YouTuber on his way to 2 million subscribers, who makes excellent content. He's one of my personal favorite content creators out there. He plays a multitude of games, but his bread and butter, his meat and potatoes, is fighting games, right? So basically, they through everything that he could do in his power, he basically was able to make the hashtag, I believe it was Free Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or something like that, or Bring Back Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or something of that nature. And basically it seemed like everything was dead, right? Like it was just never going to happen and nothing would ever happen, and it was dead, right? They did everything in their power. The community united. They made it trend. So the message was sent. But for a few years, it seemed like that message was, received upon deaf ears. But apparently that didn't happen, because before the game released, months before the game released, you had the Nintendo Direct, and they surprised everybody with the Fighting Capcom collection. And they got not only Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but they got X-Men vs. Street Fighter. They got the original Marvel vs. Capcom. They've got Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. Like all of those games right there, all in one package. And as a matter of fact, they're doing a Capcom Fighting Collection too, with games like Pirate Power Stone and all that kind of stuff. So this is great. This is huge. This goes to show you just how powerful a community can be, even if that community is a little bit of a smaller community or whatnot. And when you really unite, these are the things that could happen. Now, this is exactly what the faithful of XDefiant are banking on, right? This is what we are hoping for. However, not all of us are blindly faithful. I just want to make that very clear. It's basically like, we understand and we know, and even though we don't want it to happen, we can accept the fact that it is very possible that after season 3, if there's not enough money coming in for XDefiant, it is very possible that the Ubisoft devs might just pull the plug and say, hey, you know what? We're not going to support this anymore. Because again, Mark Rubin wasn't lying, because if Ubisoft, as of right now, and seemingly, hopefully for at least the next 6 months, according to rumor for Tom Henderson, if that part is correct, obviously, as of right now where we stand, and as of the time when that statement was made, yes, XDefiant does have the the possibility of getting shut down, as well as the fact that it can also come back. It can pull a Rainbow Six Siege and do better. And I'm glad that happened, especially within Ubisoft with Rainbow Six Siege. Not because I didn't care for the game or anything like that. No. Ultimately, you don't want any game to fail, right? Devs work so hard at it. There's so much money being put into it, and you just hope that it satisfies the player base and they can continue to be happy to play it. And obviously, within any type of game that's released, competition is good because there's more to be learned, and therefore games in the future that come out could get better, and more games of the type can get released, which is another thing. Another reason why there are so many people passionate and so supportive of XDefiant. However, going back to what I'm saying before I almost lost track here, is that we are not blind. A lot of us are not blind. We are willing to accept the fact that the game can die, and we are very well aware that it is a possibility that is, according to the numbers, when you look at just the numbers, which are a very powerful show of evidence, when you look at the numbers, it is very possible that could happen. However, we also know that history does like to repeat itself, and it is possible that if the cards are played right, that this game can come back, and not only can it come back and pull a Rainbow Six Siege, but perhaps the game could not only have a firm foundation, but also evolve and become this extraordinary thing to where you will have so many different ways to play this game, that there's going to be so many different types of people, of lovers of first-person shooters, whether it's arcade shooters, whether it's, people that love things like zombies or stuff like that, or whether it's people who love things like other different types of shooters, or some sort of different co-op type of modes or something like that, that could find something in XDefiant in the future. And if that happens, I think it will be not only great for the competition, but I think it's going to be great for the industry, and it's going to be great for players. And that is exactly what we, the XDefiant community, are hoping for, and in a certain extent, we're banking on, because, well, we made it this far, and believe it or not, making it this far to a certain extent is a big deal in and of itself. And we have the kind of devs behind XDefiant, which we recently learned more have been hired, right? We've got the kind of devs that are being transparent with the community and that actually care and know what it takes to make this game a success. Unfortunately, we don't have the kind of manpower that some other franchises have, or the budget that some other franchises have. However, I do believe, with time, of course, we do have enough to get us from point A to point B. And if we actually get there, okay, some people would say it's a big if, and I'm not going to argue with you, okay? But if that does happen, we are going to be in a good place to where the snowballing effect or the domino effect is going to happen, and things will be really gaining motion, and there's going to be more results happening much, much faster, with more features, more bells and whistles, and more variety of things to play, and more reasons for players to not only come back to play and to continue playing, but to bring in new players as well. But anyway, that's all I got for this one, guys. I want you to tell me down in the comment section what you guys think about this and what your thoughts are. Leave all your thoughts down below. And are you someone that's in the middle, walking the fence in terms of, you know, you could go either way, whether you're Team XDefiant or you're not banking on Team XDefiant or whatever it is? I want to know down below. And if there's anything here that you guys think that that I missed in terms of both sides of the fence, please let it be known down in the comment section below. And with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to watch and or listen. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.